solar system and the Earth. In this lesson, stars, planets, satellites, solar system, movements of the Earth, seasons of the Earth. In the sky, there are many heavenly bodies like the stars, planets and their satellites. Stars. There are millions of stars in the sky. They appear as tiny specks of light because they are very far from us. A star is a huge ball of gases. Stars give out heat and light. The sun is the nearest star to the Earth. Some of the stars are smaller than the sun and some much bigger than it. Sun looks big compared to other stars because it is closer to the Earth. Stars keep shining for millions of years. We cannot see the stars in daylight because of the bright sunlight which dims out them. Stars form many patterns in the sky. A group of stars forming a pattern in the sky is called a constellation. Stars are found in clusters or star clouds called galaxies. Milky Way is a spiral-shaped galaxy which contains our solar system. It has billions of stars. The stars we see in the night sky are just a small part of this galaxy. There are billions of galaxies in the universe. Can you imagine how big the universe is? Planets. Planets are heavenly bodies which revolve round the sun. Earth is one of the 8 planets which move in their orbits around the sun. A planet is much smaller than the star. Planets do not have heat and light of their own. They reflect the light of the sun. The 8 planets are Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. All of the planets, except Earth, were named after Greek and Roman gods and goddesses. For example, Venus is the Roman goddess of love and beauty. Out of these planets, 5 were known to humans since ancient time, while the planets Uranus and Neptune were discovered only after the invention of the telescope. 1. Mercury. Mercury is the closest to the Sun. It is the smallest planet. It is very hot in the day and freezing cold at night. 2. Venus. Venus is the brightest and the hottest planet. It is also called the morning or evening star. It can be seen at dawn or dusk. 3. Earth. Earth is the only known planet which has life on it. 4. Mars. Mars is called the red planet because of its reddish appearance due to being covered with red dust. 5. Jupiter. Jupiter is the largest and the fastest spinning planet. It is approximately 318 times as massive as Earth, and is wider than 11 Earths put side by side. 6. Saturn. Saturn is the second largest planet. It has 7 rings made up of ice, rocks and dust around it. 7. Uranus. Uranus is an ice giant. It is covered with a thick layer of beautiful blue-green gas. 8. Neptune. Neptune is also an ice giant. It has cold winds blowing on it faster than an aeroplane. It is the farthest known planet to the Sun. Satellites. A satellite is a small heavenly body which revolves around the planet. The Moon is the only natural satellite of the Earth. Planet. No. Of satellites. Mercury. 0. Venus. 0. Earth. 1. Mars. 2. Jupiter. 79. Saturn. 82. Uranus. 27. Neptune. 14. Our solar system. Solar system. The Sun along with the 8 planets and their satellites make up the solar system. Earth. The Earth is a very beautiful planet having land and water, hills and plains, mountains and valleys, plateaus and coasts, and life. It is also called the blue planet. It has a thick blanket of air, called atmosphere, surrounding it. This provides oxygen to all living things. The planet Earth has life because it has air, water and proper temperature necessary for survival. The Earth was not always like this. Millions of years ago, it was a huge ball of dust and hot gases which kept spinning. Some gases escaped and some were trapped inside. With time, the outer surface cooled down and became hard, but the inner surface is still very hot and is in molten state. Earth's outermost layer is called the crust. It is made up of rocks and minerals. We live on it. Below the crust is the mantle. It is hot and made up of a mixture of solid rocks, minerals and metals. The innermost portion of the earth is called the core. It is very hot and is in molten state. The molten material is called magma. Even today the core is very hot and under great pressure. The lava or magma, mixture of boiling liquids and gases, pushes against the outer crust. The weak spots in the Earth's surface allow the magma to force itself out. This is how a volcano is formed. The magma forced out through the cracks on the Earth is called lava. Volcanoes are of three types. Active volcanoes, they erupt regularly. Dormant volcanoes, they have not erupted for a long time. Extinct volcanoes, they have not erupted for thousands of years. Layers of the Earth. Volcano. Movements of the Earth. There are two kinds of movements of the Earth. Rotation. Revolution. Rotation. The Earth rotates on its axis, which is an imaginary line running through its center. This axis is slightly tilted. The 2 points where the axis seems to enter the Earth are called the poles. There are 2 poles, the North Pole and the South Pole. Equator is another imaginary line which divides the Earth horizontally into 2 equal halves, the Northern Hemisphere and the Southern Hemisphere. The movement of Earth around its axis is called rotation. This causes the formation of day and night. Revolution. The Earth revolves around the Sun in a fixed path called orbit. This movement of Earth around the Sun is called revolution. It takes 365, 1/4 days for the Earth to complete one revolution. Revolution of the Earth. Seasons of the Earth. The revolution of the Earth causes seasons. Earth's axis always points in one direction. If the axis was not tilted, there would be no seasons. That is why when the northern hemisphere is away from the sun, the southern hemisphere is towards it, and when the northern hemisphere is towards the sun, the southern hemisphere is away from it. For this very reason, the seasons in northern hemisphere are always different from the seasons in southern hemisphere. When the North Pole points towards the sun, it is summer in the northern hemisphere as the sun's rays fall directly. The South Pole is away from the sun and there is not much daylight. It is winter in the southern hemisphere as the sun rays are slanting. After a few months, the southern hemisphere comes closer to the sun and there is more sunlight, and hence it is summer here. The North Pole is tilted away from the sun and there is winter in the northern hemisphere. The equator has the sun rays falling on it directly throughout the year, therefore it is like summer throughout the year. The seasons are caused due to 1. The Earth's axis being tilted. 2. Revolution of the Earth. Causing seasons. Imaginary lines on the Earth. Festivals and heavenly bodies. In India, many festivals are connected with the movement of the heavenly bodies like the sun and the moon. Onam, Baisakhi, Pongal and Lohari are celebrated according to the seasons. The festival of Eid is based on the appearance of moon. Diwali is celebrated on new moon and Holi on full moon. In the Indian calendar, days of the week are named after the planets. For example, Mangalwar means the day of Mangal or